The Portland Trailblazers. I very much like this team. They're not necessarily my team, but ever since Damian Lillard, 2012, what was it, when he came into the NBA and has captivated, goddamn, could not speak, my attention and my interest, they're a team that I have very much enjoyed watching. And this season, it's been a roller coaster because the start of the year is very promising. Especially even after Damian Lillard got hurt after a roaring start, they were able to keep the ship afloat. Then Dame comes back and it started to crumble a little bit. And this is a team that clearly they've said they're going to do everything in their power to upgrade the current team. And they've made Josh Hart and Jusuf Nurkic available. Josh Hart is, nearing an expiring contract, and as Josh Hart's deal, he has a player option, and that he's expected to exercise it, but it's non-guaranteed, so someone can, you know, cut it. But and then Jusuf Nurkic, he's owed $54.4 million over the next few seasons. And Portland is currently a team that is ranked 12th in the Western Conference, 23 and 26. So let me read you what it's been said by Jake Fischer of Yahoo Sports. The Portland Trailblazers have no intention of trading Jerami Grant after he turned down an extension. It's believed that Jerami Grant is going to test free agency and he's going to re-sign with the Portland Trailblazers because they can pay him the most money, and they just can't offer him the deal that he wants during the season because of limitations. So once he hits free agency, then they're going to re-sign him to like 4 or 5 year deal between 150 and like $200 million. And obviously Damian Lillard isn't going anywhere. But the rest of the roster, besides Anthony Simons, is interesting. The Blazers have told rival teams that they're open to discussing a trade for everyone else besides their core three. That includes Josh Hart and Jusuf Nurkic. Josh Hart has a quirky contract for next season. He has a player option, but should exercise it, Hart's deal becomes non-guaranteed. Thus, Portland still retains control. Given that it's expected that Hart will opt out for unrestricted free agency this summer, and that the Portland Trailblazers are open to move on from him before risking losing him for nothing. So we don't know. And then Jusuf Nurkic, weird season. He's been solid offensively, but defensively he has a lot to desire. Portland is a team that needs to protect their guards on the defensive end, and that's why making Nurkic available, who I already mentioned earlier, has $54.4 million owed to him over the next 3 seasons, could be on his way out to find other players. Now it becomes hard because you start to think, okay, who could you trade Nurkic for? 15.6 this season, and then you got Josh Hart, who's not far behind, making 12.9. So 15.6 with 12.9, that right there is about 28.5 million dollars. Immediately, if you're trying to trade for one player, you think there isn't really anyone out there. But if you start thinking of teams, Terrence Ross and Mo Bamba and Gary Harris. Now Nurkic doesn't make sense to go to a team like Orlando. But if you look over again to another, and that's just a package that makes sense money wise, because Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, right there, that's 25 million. Then you throw in Mo Bamba, that's 35 million, and then the thought process is maybe you could dangle somebody in front of the Magic that they would be interested in, because if you do package Jusuf Nurkic, Josh Hart, that's right there. Like I said, $28 million. You need about 34. So maybe you dangle Nazir Little in there, and that might be able to get you the deal done. And I think that's where I don't think that's a possible deal. But if you go over to a team like the San Antonio Spurs and you offer them a first round pick and like a boatload of second round picks, okay, and you call up San Antonio and you say, hey, Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, that's $25 million. Jakob Poeltl, that's $34 million right there. What if you send us Jakob Poeltl? You could really just say, here's Josh Hart and Jusuf Nurkic, a first round pick, and 4 seconds. Give me Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl. Could we get a deal done right there? And we send you Jusuf Nurkic and Josh Hart, would that be something they'd be interested in? Or would they rather do, a one unprotected first round pick, 4 seconds, Jusuf Nurkic, Josh Hart, and Nazir Little, and see if you could get that in? And maybe even throw in Keon Johnson, Nazir Little, Josh Hart, Jusuf Nurkic for Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, and Jakob Pertl. That's a pretty decent deal, if I have to say so myself, because I think right there you obviously get yourself two shooters, one playing defense, and Josh Richardson, and then you get the big man you need. Then you could argue that why this benefits San Antonio is San Antonio gets a big man in Nurkic that they could use as a developing guy. And then I think, like, this is just, in my opinion, Portland would just benefit from this. So I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts down below. What would you guys do and why? I think it's definitely an interesting situation that I think the San Antonio deal, they're the dark horse team to come in and take Pirtle because they could benefit from him. We'll see.